Cubs have definitely shown a sense of urgency. Now, are they going after a Marlins ace, Jesús Luzardo? Is he available? And is he someone that the Cubs are going to be able to bring into the mix? And would he help this organization? We'll talk about that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thanks for hanging, guys. Let's get this show started. Go Cubs. It's so great to see you guys here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Mick Gillespie at Broadcaster Mick. Not just a guy that has covered the Cubs, but a guy who has loved the Cubs since I was a little kid. And maybe I should put that in the montage. And I'm always heartbroken when the Cubs don't win, and I'm happy when they do. And it feels like there's a sense of urgency right now with our organization. And I love it. Like the trade of Kyle Tucker gives me hope that there is a sense of urgency. It signals that. And so now the Cubs have that star player, and you look at his numbers, hey, he compares rather nicely to Juan Soto. And you're going to need that when you're trying to win the Central, when you're trying to take a step forward, get out of the 83 and 79 Coldrums and get into the postseason again. But how about win a World Series? And that's something that Tucker's done. So that's what our goal should be. And I feel like that's the urgency around this organization. They're making moves with the resources that are available that are going to put them in position to have a pretty competitive team, right? Got Carson Kelly. So finally got a catcher, got a guy you can rely on. So now you got that. That's another check in the box. But here's what I wanted to talk about today. Jesús Luzardo, 27-year-old, under control for 2 seasons, $6 million or somewhere in that neighborhood with arbitration. And from what we're hearing and what the reports are is that the Cubs are interested. And of course, that coming from one of the big guys in this business, somebody that just seems to nail the Cubs when he tries it. And that's Bob Nightingale of the USA Today. So, he's basically talking about the fact that the Cubs would like to add an ace to the mix. And you're already seeing them go out and show that they're not afraid to do some things. Matthew Boyd, Eli Morgan, where you're looking at pitching veterans that you want to bring in to try to help the bullpen. I still think there's some areas there that could be improved, but Luzardo is interesting to me. Last year, he ended up with a 5 ERA, and he only made 12 starts, 66 innings, and it was coming back from some injury issues. But remember the year before, 23, when he was 10-10 and had a 3.58 ERA. He's got postseason experience. The guy had 208 strikeouts in 178 innings. And he was clearly, to me, one of those pitchers that was coming into his own. And then obviously some setbacks with injuries. But would the Marlins be an organization that could work with the Cubs? I think they certainly could be, because the Marlins are in a rebuild and the Cubs have more prospects than most any other team in baseball. And how willing are the Cubs to part with them? Well, we saw Cam Smith go in the Kyle Tucker trade. I saw Cam Smith. I couldn't figure out if Cam Smith was going to be a star, a regular big leaguer, or, a guy that had trouble in the big leagues. He'll be in the big leagues. I don't know. That nothing that I saw made me think that he was going to be a superstar. And to me, I think that to get a Kyle Tucker, to try to win now, to bring in a star, maybe you can keep him around with a contract later. I felt like that was a worthwhile risk. So Luzardo could be the next guy. And we'll definitely keep an eye out on, where the connection is. But the Marlins have been willing to trade. And Luzardo would have been someone that I think would have been dealt at the deadline last year, but there was questions about his health status. So, you put him in the rotation. And I feel like for the Cubs, it's about trying to add guys that are going to really help that rotation. Luzardo's 6 foot, 218 pound, another lefty. The Cubs are big on lefties. The guy's from Peru and a former Nationals 3rd round pick out of Highland Park, Florida. And, in his career, pitched for the Oakland A's, came over and pitched for the Marlins. And when he's good, he's really tough. You know, he's got great stuff. So we'll see if this is the next move. Now, the other move that you got to keep an eye on is the Cody Bellinger trade watch. And this is going to happen. I can't see a scenario where he doesn't go. If the Cubs could figure out a way to get Ian Happ to waive his no trade clause, for me, you know, I would rather have Bellinger in left field if somebody wanted Happ. I mean, if I had to take the two and said, hey, I get to pick one or the other, but it doesn't feel like that's the scenario for the Cubs. So, yeah, you know, Happ's going to cost you a little bit less, but I feel like Bellinger's a much better everyday player. But it feels like Bellinger's going to get traded. Probably the Yankees here in the Mariners could come into this and get him. But somebody's going to come in and pick up that $27.5 million and then slide him into their lineup. And, you know, honestly, I'm surprised that the Giants haven't tried to get into this mix. And I know some of it has to do with available positions, but also, I mean, they are sitting here getting lapped by the Dodgers, and Cody Bellinger would be such a big addition to the Giants. But they haven't been mentioned. It's been the Angels that you hear. It's been the Mariners that you hear, and it's been the Yankees, a lot of Yankees. So that's kind of where this thing sits right now. But the other thing, too, we're keeping an eye on this. Roki Sasaki, the Japanese hurler, you can sign him for, you know, under $8 million. It's because of international baseball rules. He's a guy that the Cubs are trying to make a pitch for right now, so we're keeping an eye on that. But this guy is so good. I mean, you talk about a difference maker out of Japan and someone that eventually, when he doesn't have the collective bargaining agreement holding him back, is going to end up with a huge contract. But if they could figure out a way to get Sasaki, maybe they still make a trade for Luzardo. Maybe not. Maybe he's a backup plan if you don't get Sasaki. Sasaki's got to decide in January. So the Cubs will have close to enough of the international money available. And then, you know, obviously you become a member of the Cubs and right away, you know, you're going to be a baseball celebrity because of the brand that the Cubs bring to the table. So that's where we are right now, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, go Cubs. And we'll see what happens. Anytime we have breaking news, you know, I'm going to jump on here and hang out with you. I also want to say to you guys, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for making this channel successful, because I know there's a lot of other options out there as far as where you go get your Cubs information. But you guys, 6,000 of you now are subscribers to the channel, and it means a lot to me. When I started this channel, I wasn't really sure, you know, how things were going to go, how you guys would take what we do here. We have fun. We talk Cubs baseball every day. We try to make it, you know, informative and entertaining. And you guys have been awesome. You know, anytime we do a live show to hear your comments, maybe we should do some call-ins. You know, we'll have Naren back on, one of our great fans. But you guys mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. 6,000 and growing, you know, just like Flintstone vitamins. And we're going to just keep on rocking. But it means a lot to me. And then finally, prayers for Rhino. I think we talked about this before. But, you know, as he tries to fight cancer again, just hope that there's another miracle in there for our guy. And we're praying and thinking about him on a daily basis. So all that and prayers and love going to Rhino's way. I'm going to wear my Rhino hat again in support. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you again tomorrow. Go Cubs.